Paltrocast.
Haley, thank you for taking the time. But the first question is it Haley or Haley? Are
Haley.
people okay? So I said it wrong and you didn't correct me. So that shows how nice you are. So Haley, how's your day going aside from, talking to media people on tour?
It's great. Here in Houston, the weather's nice, so I can't really complain.
Right. So we were connected because within the last couple of weeks, they announced your new EP and the Spine Farm signing. Congratulations on that. Which happened first, the signing or the EP being finished?
The EP being finished happened a very long time ago, actually. So that definitely came first. I guess I just, you never know the trajectory of what's going to happen with your career or your music until you start releasing stuff. So
Wow. So with having the EP done for a while, does it feel like that's old music for you and you've already started writing more stuff?
yeah, we've definitely started writing more stuff. I think I'm still so in love with everything on the first EP that it still feels like a new thing for me every time I listen to it. But I'm also beyond excited about the music that we've created after that that's going to come out.
Cool. Well, the Babylon video is very impressive, very visually stunning, a lot going on in that end. When did you wrap and all that on that video?
Yeah, so that was actually almost exactly a year ago. August of 2023 is when we filmed that. Um, I was between Prey and Babylon for a music video. And I just had this extremely vivid storyline in my head for Babylon that I had an idea for Prey, but it wasn't as clear and crisp as I had for Babylon. So I just knew I had to do a music video for that one.
Wow. So the EP is kind of old, new to us. The music video is old, new to us. So it sounds like you're good at keeping secrets about what's to come.
No, I yap all the time. I just know who to tell so that they won't tell anybody, like close friends or, family members. And obviously when it comes to label signings and stuff, that has to stay on the down low. But, a lot of people have known about this music video for a long time because I'm like, Mom, look, I'm in a music video.
Got it. Was the music video filmed in Texas?
It was actually filmed in Yorba Linda, California, which you can kind of consider like the greater LA area.
Got it. Is Texas still the home base for everybody in the band these days?
No, actually. So I'm in Austin. I lived in Houston for almost a decade before that. But I am from Houston. Before that, my guitarist or our guitarist, Alex, he lives in Houston. I met through the local music scene when I lived in Houston. Incredible guitar player, even better person. And then Devin is in Michigan, and we've been internet friends for a really long time. And he's got a great creative eye. So, yeah.
Oh, I say that because the bio refers to this as a Texas band. Is 2/3 Texas still make you a Texas band?
I just don't want to call us an internet band because that's not what we're trying to be. I mean, you could just say that we're from the United States, but I mean, to be honest, I wasn't even living in Texas when I wrote these 5 songs. I was living in Arizona at the time. I had a very tumultuous living situation. So at
And
the
the
time,
music video is made in California. So I guess just call yourselves a North American band and it's easier.
yeah, yeah, U.S. North American bands. Yeah, America's rock band.
Well, are you done with compliments or can you still take one or two for today?
Oh, I give all the compliments.
Okay.
And I'll still be awkward about it, but it's fine.
Well, what draws me to your band is that it's heavy and energetic, but at the same time, there's a sense of humor. So in other words, when you look at some of the songs, you see the satire. And then when you look at the press and the interviews, you're a bunch of smiley, happy people. It's just when you're getting on stage, we see the growls and all that. Has it always been the case, or are you a bunch of people who just mellowed out over time?
So when it comes to the music and the vision in and of itself, without keeping the personalities out of it, like me, Alex, and Devin, it is a relatively serious project, right? But at the end of the day, like, all three of us are incredibly goofy people. I'm very silly. I'm very weird. Like, we have two engineers in the band. Like, we're geeks, you know? And I was initially not wanting to show that side. I wanted us to be extremely stoic and serious. And it just felt very inauthentic at first. So, basically I try to compartmentalize, you know, when I'm having interviews and stuff, I'll still be myself. But the vision in and of itself, there's not really any humor, at least not on purpose in any of that.
But at the same time, you do clean vocals and you do very screamy, throaty vocals. Are you able to track those in the same sessions?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So
couldn't afford the studio space to do it separately anyway. So time is money, you know.
There's vocal training in your background, that you may be a secret theater kid in terms of learning how to sing.
Yeah, I was in choir all throughout my developmental years. I didn't really sing outside of choir until I became an adult and I left college because I just didn't really have any time. And I wouldn't say I was discouraged from doing music, but I definitely received a lot more love and praise for playing sports when I was growing up. So really honing those abilities didn't come until later in my adult years.
Got it. So coming back to the whole Spine Farm signing thing, a couple of music videos being in the chamber, the EP out in about 6 weeks. Do you know what 2025 looks like already? I'm not saying give me all the exclusives here, but I'm saying, are you going to be on the road like 6 months of the year? Is that the plan?
We don't have tours solidified for 2025 quite yet, but I can nearly guarantee it's very, very likely that we will be on the road quite a bit in 2025. We already have been talking about multiple different tours, all support, but regardless, we definitely plan on being on the road and obviously releasing more music.
When you're planning those kinds of tours, do you want to go out with other heavier bands, or is it just we'll play anywhere?
I'm pretty open to genre. I actually think sometimes we would fit less heavier bills better. I think Within the Ruins is the tour coming up in October. I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the heaviest bands we ever end up touring with. Yeah, I could be wrong, but you know, I never will put it past me. But I think a lot of our fans listen to a lot of rock as well. So I think that would probably be a good fit. I think the metal genre has become so diverse that I'm very open to all sorts of like subgenres.
Well, in terms of you though, most people I find, they grow up initially listening to top 40 radio, and then they have that one or two band rotation that kind of makes them realize, oh, there's independent stuff happening, and that's where I'm going to go. For you, what was that band or that gateway towards the heavy stuff?
I wouldn't necessarily say I grew up as like a top 40 radio kid. My dad, I wouldn't say as much anymore, but growing up, he was extremely into like grunge, new metal. Like we had a whole CD collection, and I remember like me seeing like Jar of Flies, Alice in Chains on that, in that collection. And he would take me, one of the first like really big concerts he ever took me to was Against Me and Foo Fighters, which Against Me was a really small band back then. They were not, you know, I mean, compared to what they became, but he was really the gateway into heavier music for me. And then of course I started to go off the rails, finding like progressive metal and everything else, which he's not. He hears my music and he's like, this is like a lot, you know, because new metal is obviously a different vibe, and I think it's a bit more palatable. But yeah, that's how I started.
So that's not quite Van Halen, Motley Crue, and Kiss.
Oh, he loves those, but he loves those bands too. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, Dr. Feelgood is such a banger. But it was a culmination of a lot of metal, just different types. Um, but nothing like death metal. I didn't really get into until way later in my adulthood, like probably like 5 years ago, because I was, before Gore, I was in a death metal band, a symphonic death metal band, and so I had to learn death metal vocals, and that's when I started getting into death metal. So
Wow. Well, two quick questions and then I let you go. And the first one is, where do you stand? And I ask this about most to most people who front bands. Where do you stand on karaoke? Is it something that you love or something you loathe and will never do? And you know that it's for people who don't really sing.
I love it because I just love to sing, right? Like that's just so fun. But you're always gonna look like such a nerd and not the cool kind when you get up and karaoke and you kill it and you crush it. Like that's what, most people are not there for that. There have been times in the past where I've gotten asked on like dates for karaoke, and I'm just like, no, like because you know, you either expect me to do really well and you'll be surprised if I don't do well, or you're gonna be annoyed that I'm doing so well and you want me to suck a little bit. Like, nah, nope. Keep it in the shower, keep it in the car.
Well, this was not the intended follow-up question, but do you have a go-to or two when you're doing karaoke? Do we see you doing Journey, for example?
Oh, Aretha Franklin all day.
Wow,
Respect, baby.
that is a side of you that I don't think anyone has seen or is expecting.
Oh, anybody who knows me as like in my personal life knows I love R&B, I love Motown. I grew up listening to, that's my mom's influence right there. Like she grew up loving all that stuff. So yeah, that's it right there. That's the money.
Mind blown. Okay, and the last question, I find the more metal the person, the more interesting their hobby is when they're not, you know, forced to tour or record. There's a lot of people in metal who are vegan, environmentalists, bouldering, those kinds of people. When you're not obligated to work, where does your time usually go?
Oh man. I'm a pretty avid like weightlifter and hiker. I also have my job outside of music that keeps me incredibly busy. I also water ski a lot. I used to do it like pretty seriously as a kid. Um, but nothing, you know, nothing too much, nothing too interesting. I like to keep it a little bit simple when I'm not crazy busy. So
So what I've learned today, to recap, is there is new music coming. You can keep secrets aside from those, you know, the need to know kind of people. You can sing Motown. You can water ski. You hike. So in other words, I'm learning that Haley, you are fascinating, and we only know 1% of Haley from this new EP.
yeah, yeah. Some people will call it ADHD. Some people will call it jack of all trades. Whatever it is, I got it. So,
Well,
and yeah.
well, thank you for your time. Congrats on A Bud That Never Blooms, and looking forward to the full length eventually when it comes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Paltrocast.